You
I'm
never
not a
know what you're
fan.
going to get.
No.
So, and
All
injuries
right.
happen a lot on these games too
Yeah. We got a few
because of
minutes
the
left on
short.
the pod. We got a few minutes left on the podcast. I know you want to talk about Cincy and KC. I don't have a
Kansas
banner for
City,
that one.
man.
Let it out,
Dude,
Toss. Go ahead.
why do these guys get so many chances? Like, I don't understand. I mean, when you're playing against Kansas City, you have to play. You're playing against the refs too, essentially
Mhm.
at this point. Like, you're gonna give this guy a 4th and 16. You're gonna let his offensive line like hold everybody. Like, like basically like hog tying guys, wrangling them around the neck. But no, you're gonna call the PI. So you're going to give them the first down and then obviously the win because they're going to be able to kick the field goal at that point. It's just like you're giving them the game. It's so annoying as a fan. And I know I picked the Bengals to win this game, and they deserve to win this game. They played
Absolutely.
better than them. They
Yeah.
outplayed them. They just like to hand Mahomes these gift penalties at the end of games. They did it in the Super Bowl against the Niners. They did it in the Super Bowl against the Eagles. They do it for this guy all the time. Like, I get it. He's got Taylor Swift on his side. Whatever. Who cares? He's got, like they're that hungry to get people to watch this guy. Like, they're just gonna like force feed him like wins, like when he didn't deserve it. Like, it's every time, man. It's really annoying to watch it this time. Like,
I will say,
honestly, I'm
yeah,
I'm so fed up with it. It's just like,
yeah.
call it the right way. Don't make these stupid like pass interference calls on an uncatchable ball when they're both going for the ball like at the end of the game. Let them play the game out the right way and don't just give this guy the game.
Especially if it's a call that's going to determine the fate of the game.
Exactly.
But that's another call. That's another thing to talk about as well, because I am starting to really get sick of defensive pass interference. Like
Yeah.
the idea that like that could be as little as 10-yard penalty to as big as like a 70-yard penalty. It's like
Yeah.
at the spot of the foul. That
Yeah.
is such a gimme. Like
Yeah. They
I'd
could
argue
call it any
defense.
time.
I could argue. I would argue that defensive pass interference should be 15 yards tops. Like it should be the
Yeah.
exact
Like
same
in
as like
college.
roughing the passer, or anything else. Like don't give
Yeah.
them more than 15 yards.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous that I could be at my own 20-yard line, throw a Hail Mary, and if there's
Yeah.
a
On a
defensive
fourth and
pass interference,
16.
if there's a defensive pass interference on
Yeah.
the opponent
Yeah.
on the 5-yard line, now I get the ball at the 5-yard line. Like that's
Automatic
ridiculous.
win.
That's
Automatic win.
ridiculous.
Or
Yeah,
they throw it
that's
up and it happens in the end zone. They put it at the 1 yard line.
yeah,
Like, it's like, okay,
that's ridiculous,
all right.
dude.
It's
And I
enough.
know
Enough of
the
this.
NFL like wants high scoring games, offense
Yeah.
sells. I get it, but like that's as a fan of the
Yeah.
sport, like that's not a fair call. It really, really
No.
isn't, because it's such a there are some that are like obvious pass interference
Yeah.
calls, but the fact that you can't challenge pass interference calls
Yeah.
is also a
Hmm.
big like red flag in my opinion. You can
I think
challenge
those.
everything else, but you can't challenge that's defensive pass interference.
I do think those. They need to start like two things that they should be able to challenge: the pass interference and the roughing the passer. Like, you should be
Yeah, I
able
agree with
to
that
like
too.
look back and say, okay,
Yep.
this was not really a penalty, because this happens all the time where like, these guys like accentuate, like Mahomes does it well, Josh Allen does it well. Like, they
Yeah.
act like they got destroyed. They like
Mhm.
kind of like flop a little bit. They didn't
Mhm.
actually get hit. And then sometimes, like in the Minnesota game, the guy comes in late, grabs Purdy, throws him back over his shoulder, suplexes him like after he's thrown the ball. Like, it was the clearest
Mhm.
roughing the passer I've ever seen, and they don't even call it. So like,
And
these
no
things,
call.
like, they should be challengeable in these cases. Like, you have to get these huge penalties that are going to like change the outcomes of games, should be reviewable. So you can't, like, you talk about getting the things right and not causing like the outcome to be skewed because you made the wrong call or you didn't make a call on an obvious blatant penalty. You got to be able to make these calls right, and by making them reviewable, that's going to go a long way towards doing that. So
Yeah.
I think honestly they got to do something, because it's incredibly frustrating that you're not going to call it the right way, or you're going to make a call when the guy, like, okay, he's going for the ball, he's jumping up, it's 4th and 16, the ball is like basically uncatchable, it's high ball, he contacts him a little bit first, but he's not hitting him to like stop him from catching it. He's actually
Right.
jumping up to play the ball too. because the ball was up. So like, the defender has the right to do that. Like just because there's marginal contact doesn't mean you're going to throw a flag, give them the first down, and basically put them at the spot of the foul, and they can just kick the game-winning field goal at that point. Like it was just the most ridiculous, annoying things ever. And obviously, if you are like me, who like bet that the Bengals are going to upset them at the -6.5, another huge spread, another huge underdog win, like, and then you get it like snatched away because the refs call this ridiculous penalty. It's really
it burns.
Annoying.
That would burn for sure.